because I actually seriously don't get what the government expected to happen when they put us in a 4-week lockdown right before a holiday and then unlocked us conveniently right on it so we could all go shopping. And then they're like, oh, I don't really know why, guys, but there's actually a surge in cases. Yeah, because you locked us in our fucking houses and then you let us out again. What are you doing? Like, I just don't get it. They really only let us out so that they could boost the economy because they wanted more money. And everyone's turning against each other because the government are just fucking messing people about. I wouldn't be surprised if the next tier is tier 10. You're strapped to your bed and you're being pushed around Tesco's by members of parliament in full PPE. But of course, schools will be open. Because
my sister and I have always been mistaken as twins. I'm 19 and she's 16, but we had the same height, skin tone, and similar voice. She also has a habit of being a copycat, from the way I dress to hobbies, even piercings. I know it's cute if you look at it from the outside, but sometimes it gets annoying. Like, yeah, we are quite close too, but why does she always happen to pick up everything I pick up? One afternoon, I was tidying up some costumes in my college showroom and found a rather cute brown and pink wig. It looks like a mushroom. I put it on, think it looks rather funny, so I snapped a picture and posted it to my Instagram. I received a text from my sister asking if I really cut my hair. I didn't mention it was a wig. While I somewhat have a feeling that she might copy that too, I lied and replied yes. I came home that weekend and lo and behold, my sister emerged with the same silly brown and pink bob cut, except this one is on her permanent hair. She was surprised that I arrived with my hair still long, then realized that I lied to her. She was furious that she had to cut that silly hairstyle because she thought I had it. Our parents think that it's a really bad joke and wanted me to cut my hair too to make it up to her. So am I the asshole for telling my sister I cut my hair when I really didn't?
So there's this customer that comes into my store probably like once or twice a week. He works with a program called Instacart. He basically buys people's groceries for them so they don't have to leave the house, and he delivers them to them. So we're having a conversation at my register one day and he made a gross sexual comment. It gave me very much pedophile vibes, and I was like, relax. And he was like, oh no, like I'm just joking. I joke with all the girls here like that. I don't know if it's because I watch too much TV, but that shit didn't sound right. My spidey senses tingling. Off the charts. I was like, this dude is a fucking weirdo. If you're a rewards member at my store, your name comes up on my computer screen when you type in your phone number. So being that the sex offender database is public information, I went out on a limb here, and what naturally occurred to me in my big old badonga was to look up his name. And what happened when I looked up his name? Sex offender. Yeah, how's he an Instacart worker? So there's
one day I was in math class and my crush was sitting next to me. We're gonna call him Diego. So Diego and I were like teasing each other, we're like flirting, whatever. So fast forward 10 minutes, Diego asks the teacher, can I go to the bathroom? And then Diego looks at me and he's like, I'll see you soon. And I was like, silly goose, what? So Diego goes to the bathroom. Then I get a FaceTime call. Oh, this is the best part. So I answered because I was like, okay, maybe something happened. Oh, something did happen, okay? So I answer, and the first thing I see is he's putting his camera on his, his bacon down there. And you know the best part is, so right when I answer, obviously I was scared, and I was like, oh. And then my teacher was like, what happened? She grabs my phone and looks, and she's like, why is it so small?
I do substitute teaching from time to time, and last week I actually had to substitute for a 7th grade biology class. So the teacher contacted me a night before to tell me what the students are learning, what their homework was and all that, and what the game plan was. So I created a list of questions to test the students on if they understood what they're learning and if they did their homework. The next day I walk into class, and as the day progresses, I tell the students, I said, I have a list of questions and I want you guys to answer them. The first question I asked the class was, what body part increases its size by 10 times when stimulated? Now, all of a sudden, this girl named Kate raises her hand and says, you are the worst substitute teacher. How can you be asking a group of 7th graders that question? You are disgusting. I'm going to go home and tell my parents, and you're going to get fired. So I ignore Kate completely, but she keeps going on about how disgusting of a question this is and this and that. But all of a sudden, this little kid named Billy raises his hand. So I go, Billy, what part of the body increases 10 times when stimulated? And he goes, the pupil, sir. And I go, correct, Billy. So I decided to go back to Kate, and I say, hey, Kate, I have 3 things to tell you. Number 1, you have a dirty mind. Number 2, you didn't do the homework on the eye. And number 3, you're going to be really disappointed in your life. Today I was working at ShopRite, and some lady comes up to me and says, hey, do you know where the broccoli is? Since I do all the produce stocking there, I knew that we were out of broccoli. So I told the lady, I said, excuse me, ma'am, we're actually all out of broccoli. And she goes, okay. Literally 1 minute later, a lady comes back to me and goes, excuse me, sir, where's the broccoli? And I look at her and I said, excuse me, ma'am, I told you, we're all out. Like, there's nothing I can do. We're all out. We'll have more tomorrow. 30 seconds later, this lady comes back to me and goes, excuse me, sir, where's the broccoli? I look at this lady and just take a deep breath. I say, ma'am, do me a favor and spell cat, like in catastrophic. She goes, that's easy, C-A-T. I said, great. Do me a favor and spell dog, like dogmatic. She goes, that's even easier. D-O-G. I said, great. I say, one last thing, ma'am. Spell fuck like in broccoli. Then she goes, there's no fucking broccoli. And I go, that's what I'm trying to tell you, lady. Today,
So it's Friday night. My man tells me he's going to go out with the boys for a little while. So, of course, a couple hours later, I check his location on the OnStar, which, by the way, he knows absolutely nothing about. And he's at this particular address that's unfamiliar to me. And I'm like, you know what? The last few times he's gone out, he's been going to this address. And I'm now really curious. I want to know who the fuck lives there. I'm like, I need to stalk his ass. So I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, I got to call my sister to come over here. She'll watch the kids while they're sleeping. I'll take her car, go to this apartment, look through the window and see what's going on. And imagine I look through the window and he's sitting there with some fucking bitch having drinks on the couch, laughing, joking, having fun. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I need to kick the door down and beat both their asses. And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe you're overreacting a little bit. Let's take a moment and give him a call, see if he actually answers the phone. So I give him a call. The first ring, he doesn't answer. My heart's palpitating. The second ring, I'm like, I got to call my sister right now. And just as I'm about to hang up, he answers the phone. He's like, hey, babe, what's up? And I'm like, hey, babe, what you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm at the bar, we used to go to before you had the baby. And I'm like, oh, tell everybody I said what's up. And he's like, hey, the wifey said what's up. And I'm like, shit.
Toxic best friend story time. So I had an off and on friendship with this one girl. In my freshman year, we became friends again. And she had this boyfriend named Nicholas. And they literally fought 24/7. And every time she would fight, she would be like, can you please fix this for me? So she would have me add him on Snapchat, fix it, and then block him. And guys, this literally was happening like 5 times a week. And then after she asked me to do that the first few times, I realized she started going through my phone. And when I say my phone, I mean my whole motherfucking phone. A bitch was going through my Snapchats, DMs, text messages, and I didn't know how to confront her because that's just weird. So the one day I was getting ready at her house because we were about to go out, and she was like, I'm grounded, can I use your phone real quick? And I was like, yeah, just let me Snapchat this last person back. And she goes, no, and rips the phone out of my hand. And she starts going through my Snapchat right in front of me. And I had a streak with this kid named Nick. She goes up to me and says, what the fuck is this? Like for part 2.
So today I went to church to confess one of my most recent sins to the priest. So I sat in the confession booth. I told the priest, I said, Father, I have sinned. And the priest wanted to hear all about it. So I said to him, I said, Father, last night I almost cheated on my wife. And the priest goes, what do you mean you almost cheated on your wife? So I told him, I said, Father, I was in a room with another girl. We got naked and all we did was rub each other. We didn't actually do anything. My priest turns to me and goes, rubbing together is the same thing as putting it in. Now for your sins, you must never see that woman again. You must say 5 Hail Marys and put $50 into the donation box. So anyway, I tell the priest I'm not going to see the girl again. I say my 5 Hail Marys and I walk out the door. So all of a sudden, my priest comes running after me saying, hey, I saw you. You didn't put $50 into the donation box. I looked at him and said, yeah, I did. I took the money and rubbed it against the box because it's the same thing as putting it in. So today...
Storytime, my roommate took from a sugar daddy edition. So we were at uni, and let's give her a code name, Nancy. So she would legit pay for everything, our drinks on nights out, our meals, our taxis on the way home. So we just thought she was like really rich. Until one day she legit broke down into tears in front of us and confessed everything. She had been maxing out her dad's credit card, 4 to 5 grand down. She was petrified she had used all of her uni allowance and then went to the Golden Glory, her dad's bank card. His bank card. We were shocked. We legit laughed through her pain, but generally just assumed she was like loaded. When I tell you, she paid for everything. Then as a joke, we was like, why don't you get a sugar daddy? Like, he can pay for this. She came back with this whole story. She had been on a date with this guy. She had drinks with this guy, and he legit laid that money out on the table, told her to take it and went because she clearly needed it. Until this day, she still uses that sugar daddy. This is my first ever story time, so like and follow my Instagram for more.
Be careful on who you decide to meet up with on a dating app because you might just end up on a date with a narcissist. When I was in Denver, I ended up matching with a really hot 39-year-old who also happened to be a lawyer. I recently called off an engagement, so casually dating other people was kinda in the books for me. Before meeting him, I made sure I took all the usual precautions. We made it very, very clear what our boundaries were and said that there was no expectations. So like either of us could leave after a drink and it would be totally fine. Also, we made sure to FaceTime and he seemed super sweet, totally normal. However, the second we sat down, it seemed like he was on drugs. He would literally talk a million miles an hour about himself and wouldn't let me get a breath in. And the stuff he was bringing up was just odd. Like he even included that he broke off an engagement too. Hold on to that thought. 2 drinks in, this man leans over and says, I've been diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenic disorder, but I didn't want to talk about it over text. Because I don't know a whole lot about those mental disorders, I felt a little uncomfy. I also didn't feel like that was a first date topic. Then he literally starts joking about murdering me and states that he would use my dead body for Face ID to text my friend that I'm safe so the timing is off for the investigation. Like for part 2. Be careful.
no way home, and I have no mercy. There's no way up, so I'm going down. Still I keep on living, so you pull me closer. When I have no mercy, let's carry on. No reasons to stop it. I wouldn't do it on my own, I can't deny it. Still trying to build and trying to be